Welcome to your Divine Feminine Weekly Oracle reading for week August 9th to August 16th. And if you're watching this after that date, it doesn't matter because the reading and the message is still intended for you regardless of that date. That's the way spirit guides work. So I encourage you to grab a pen, take notes, because whatever jumps out at you is what the reading and the message is telling you. And if you're interested in getting a much longer, in-depth reading with me, you can go to my website, maryroseintuitive.com. You can book, schedule your reading. It'll calculate the time and the time zones with my schedule and availability. Okay, so I am working with today Modern Witch Tarot. I love this deck. It's so beautiful, and I just got it recently, and it just jumped out at me. I can start using it right away. It's one of those kind of decks. And Sacred Forest by Denise Linn. This is another beautiful, beautiful deck. Okay, so I've laid out the cards to save on time, and I'm just going to go right into the reading. Okay, so the first card that we got is the Moon. The Moon is telling us that there is more going on than what we see in the situation. Everything that you are being shown right now, there is more to it. The Moon also shows us that there's caution in the wind. Sometimes we throw a lot of caution. Sometimes we are, it's making us feel a little bit more like on edge and more of like, I don't understand what's happening. I don't know, like what everything that's going on in the world. I'm filming this during pandemic time, and it's really got a lot of us thinking and questioning a lot of things that are happening. And you know, it's not the easiest time, but you know what, we are all, I always say this, we are all in this together, and the Moon is saying that there's hidden influences that are working. So we tend to put on a little bit of I'm a little bit afraid, and putting that energy out there of fear. So when you put that energy out of fear, you are going to get more fear back at you. So what I'm seeing about this is that you need to go with it. You need to just trust. You need to trust, because when you trust, you can actually move forward. And it's been leaving us feeling a little bit isolated. So the energy that we've been feeling, and this might be even with a relationship, because I know this is for Divine Feminine. So the Divine Feminine is feeling a little bit isolated, and like the Divine Feminine is all about nurturing and healing, and it's more of a softer energy. And we've been protecting that part of ourselves. We've been protecting the Divine Feminine. We've been protecting that self of ours. And so by doing so much of it, it's good to be aware and be cautious, but not to the extent of actually sabotaging yourself. So there might be some sabotaging going on, and you need to just take a leap of faith and just trust. That's my message to you. Take a leap of faith and trust. Don't worry. We all need to get out there. You need to put yourself out there. You need to trust and believe that everything's going to work out. You need to trust and believe that everything that's happening is for a reason, especially with, like I said, with relationships. You got to realize that whatever's happening in your relationship, it is because it's happening for a reason. It's a learning experience. And, you know, I know maybe some things are not as pleasant as they could be. It's because there's a lesson behind it. You will never endure anything that you can't handle. Remember that. Okay. The second card is Three of Cups, which is a reason for a celebration. Isn't that a beautiful card? They're all celebrating. They're all rejoicing. It's a card of feeling just static energy, feeling really happy. So it's a card of getting together and feeling like you want to get together. Just that feeling of working with community. I know that's how I've been feeling too. It kind of it makes a lot of sense. It's a celebration of some kind, but a celebration starts in here. You want to have more abundance in your life? Well, you need to put that energy out there and just trust. Okay, I go back to the Moon card because the Moon is really, it's right next to it, and it's saying that. Okay, now the Lovers is the third card, and the Lovers is a choice. As you can see, this is the Adam and Eve. You see on the side, there is the tree, and there is a serpent on the tree. If you can see that, I know this light is pretty bright. It's actually my window light. And the light, sorry, not the light, but the you can see, oh, there's apples there. She has a choice to take the apple and listen to the serpent, or she can just move forward. So they have a choice. Okay, I'm not saying that that's what the card is exactly about, but there's a lot of hidden messages that are in there. So you have a choice. You can take the apple, you know, and move forward with your life, or you can choose not to take the apple. Don't eat the apple. Don't go that road. Who knows if if you It's a myth. I know it's a myth, and I'm a firm, I'm a Christian lady. And so I know the Bible, and it's like if Eve didn't, I always say if Eve didn't take the apple, what would have happened? So it's basically a choice. Okay. It's not about, I'm not talking about religion or anything like that. That's not what I'm getting into. I'm just talking about, just the myth of the whole thing. When I say myth, because I'm trying to put this more in a neutral place, right? It's not about believe this or believe that. It's more about taking the choice, taking a stand. Do you want to move forward or do you want to go backwards? And moving forward means that you need to have the courage to stand up and say, okay, you know what, I can do this. And you got a choice. Whatever jumps out in your mind is the message, okay? And if you're feeling that, then that's basically what it's telling you, okay? And I have to say, like, it's about doing lots of changes in your home as well. Like I feel that energy coming through. It's like you might be feeling like you need to move things around. It's really good to move things around in your place. It's really good to move a few things. It's good to, and this might be just in some minor details. It might be just in some little things that you need to do. You need to change it up. You need to do some decluttering. You need to get rid of things that no longer serve you. You hear me say that all the time, but this is a really great thing to do. And it's also very sacred. It's actually how I look at it is it's a sacred place. It's a sacred energy when I declutter because it's actually getting rid of. It's kind of like letting go, but I'm also bringing in new stuff and organizing. I love to do that. It's just something that it's a passion that I have. I love to design and organize, that's a hobby. It's not my second job or anything like that. Just, it's just the way it is. We all have something about ourselves. Well, that makes sense because it's a message here. We all have something else that we want to do and something else that we want to take on, but we don't do it because we just think, well, it's not like I just answered my question. Why shouldn't I become a designer? Why shouldn't I do that? Well, I mean, I have done certain things in the past, but it's not about doing, when I say designing, I'm not talking about designing, homes or architect or anything like that. I'm talking about like just, simple things on how to place things like a feng shui kind of way, kind of like, just designing and rebuilding and helping other people to declutter and organize. Basically, it's all about organization, okay? But there's a little bit of a thing. I'm like, this stage of my life, go back to school and take it. And I'm like, no, you know what? I just do it for myself. And yeah, that was just a little thing that I wanted to share with you. You can take on whatever you want, okay? Listen to that, okay? And the card I chose from Sacred Forest is it's actually free spirit energy, and this is take charge. You see, I'm reading these cards all together, and it's basically saying the same thing. Take charge. Go and just do it. Like whatever that is happening, whatever's coming through to you, you need to take that chance. You need to start doing it because when you do, you're going to see energy building. You're going to see things opening up. Love is going to be, it's going to be blissful. Like when I say love, sometimes we want a specific person to enter our life because that person I love that person and I want that person to enter my life. And we put in so much energy for that person to be in our life. And, we do things and we actually pushing that person away. When I say put in so much energy, I mean mental energy, because I'll tell you something. We are all psychically connected. And when you put out energy like that, you are actually pushing away the real love that you're meant to have in your life. Instead of trying to control something and be a certain way, you need to let that go. And yes, a lot of people will not like what I say because they're like, well, that's my soulmate. Well, that's my twin flame. And how can I, most of the time, I have to say it's probably just a karmic and a contract, a sacred contract. That's a contract that's from twin. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. Sometimes it's just a karmic contract, and that means that you can have many of those. But when it comes to soulmate we can have many soulmates in our life, yeah, and they come and go too as well, but they're a little bit more lighter. They're all from the soul group. And then when we got the twin flame, which is the one that comes in and it's a hit, it just created like this major chaos, but yet it brought so much love into our life, and so it's just you know what it is. And if you've had a twin flame, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm just saying, what you need to do is release, surrender, and allow things just to come to you, especially when it comes to everything else that's in your life. I'm not talking about just in love, I'm talking about in health, I'm talking about in, just like what you're doing right now is you're pushing away what you truly need. And sometimes what you really need is just to surrender. And I'm going to tell you right now, you just need to surrender, because it's about sharing and things are going to start to open up, but you need to surrender first. Before you can actually attract the things that you need into your life, you need to surrender. Surrender is a big thing. It's a big key point here, and that's the way it is. Okay, so I hope that this reading was helpful for you and that it gave you some clarity. And as always, I wish you all peace and blessings, love and light.